Hey guys, thanks for watching. So I just arrived in South Korea. I got the plane here. Originally I was meant to get the ferry, but I actually ended up having to extend my time in Japan by a few days. So I bought this typical tourist card. It's just like a card for transportation. It costs 4,000 won. I think that's like a bit less than $3. And then you do need to use cash to top up the card. So I'm about to get the subway to get to my Airbnb. I am working today, so unfortunately I can't explore Busan on my first day, which is really sad. I'm gonna have to wait until next week because I'm overloaded with work the next few days. But it's gonna be cool to stay in a residential area and to check out the infamous Korean apartments. Thank you for watching. I'm excited to try the Korean transportation because I have heard very good things. I'm also trying to make more of an effort with the language here because I was useless in Japan with Japanese, so I've been trying to learn a little bit of Korean. One of my amazing Korean students that I've been tutoring for years, and also one of my good friends at this point, she actually gave me a cute little Korean lesson the other night and taught me some basic things. I'm going to be meeting her for some Korean food on Sunday, so maybe she'll want to be in the video, and if so, it's going to be so cool to introduce her because yeah, I love her. Alright, so I've really been looking forward to making this video about South Korea. I had a great experience in South Korea. Actually, I stayed in South Korea for over 2 months, which is a record for me. That's probably the longest I've stayed in a place throughout my nomadic journey. I usually tend to stay in a country for 1 month to 6 weeks, depending on how big the country is and how many things I want to see. But honestly, I felt so at home in South Korea. While I really enjoyed my experiences in other Eastern Asian countries, like I've already made a video about Japan, and there will be a video coming at some point about Taiwan. This is excluding China because I still haven't made it to China, unfortunately. I must say I did feel the most at home in South Korea. While I enjoyed Japan and Taiwan as places to visit, I felt at home in South Korea. I developed a routine there. I met people there. I really identified with certain aspects of their culture, and I felt very comfortable there overall. It might be something to do with the fact that Ireland and South Korea have some similarities in history. I soon learned that Korea really is a country of mountains. There's mountains literally everywhere surrounding every city. A lot of green nature, dark green color palettes. Maybe there's something about the familiarity in the environment that made me feel at home. I'm not really sure. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. I also connected with a lot of really cool Korean people, met up with students that I already knew and met a lot of new Korean people. And yeah, I just tended to feel really comfortable there overall. It's probably a personal thing for me. South Korea has been getting a lot more exposure in Western culture over the recent years, which I really like, with the rise of the K-pop industry and Korean dramas, Korean movie production, which I have to say is outstanding. I tend to watch Korean movies a lot myself. A lot more Westerners have been becoming more interested in South Korea, wanting to learn Korean, wanting to travel there, and of course I had to hop on the bandwagon and find out for myself. I did come to South Korea just in time for cherry blossom season, which was beautiful because I didn't get to see them in Japan, and they were just as beautiful in South Korea. I was in Busan at the time. Overall, while I enjoyed my time in every place in South Korea, I have to say Busan was my favorite. Busan is right by the sea. It's in the southeast of South Korea, and it's just beautiful. When I was in Busan, I was working a lot and I had a lot of personal things I had to do, so I ended up staying in Busan for quite a while. I think it was almost a month actually. Not particularly exploring, but just developing a routine every day, being able to go out for a walk or a run, going to the shops, doing my work, my normal things. Yeah, I just felt very comfortable there. I didn't really have any need to leave, to be on the go, to get up and go somewhere else. I just enjoyed my time there and took things slowly. like a mix of city life and nature the way I do, I feel like you're spoilt for choice in Busan. I loved Gyeongju Temple. It's this beautiful temple right by the sea, unfortunately overcrowded with people, which is to be expected because it's stunning. But if it was a more quiet place, I actually would have loved to meditate there. And besides that, Busan is filled with mountains, coastal walks, there's the beaches, boardwalks. There's so many places where you can just retreat and recline in nature, but you still have a big metropolitan city right next to you. And I feel like that's part of the reason I felt at home there and wanted to stay for so long, because it was just perfect for my personality. There's a lot of places if you want to go out, if you want to meet people, if you want to do activities, but there's also a lot of places to just retreat and take things slow. So I think it's the perfect balance. I found the safety to also be really, really good in South Korea, again, as a solo female traveler. Kind of similar to how I mentioned in Japan, it's very safe to walk at nighttime. I really didn't have any issues at all. And one of the things that I loved about South Korea is they have these emergency buttons everywhere. So you see them in public places, in public toilets. And I believe that if you press it, it sends a call directly to the police station if there's an issue. There's also a lot of cameras in public places in South Korea. I suppose this is a topic that has been a bit controversial between people, but personally it made me feel very safe. Even the apartment that I was staying in for my Airbnb, the apartment lobby itself had like 14 cameras in the building or something, the owner told me. I would have walked at night a lot more in South Korea than I did in Japan because I stayed there longer and I was working at nighttime because of the time zone difference. So, you know, every night I would walk to the convenience store or just go for a run or something at sometimes like 2, 3, 4 in the morning even. And yeah, never had any issues even in big cities like Seoul, Busan, which, you know, as a solo female, it's just unbelievable to be able to do that every night. Really appreciated. So yeah, I felt very, very safe in South Korea.
This stop is Busan.
I left Busan quite sadly at first because, as I've mentioned a few times, I became quite attached to the city. However, after Busan, I went to Gyeongju, which is a really cool city in South Korea. It's a very historical city. Gyeongju was the capital of the ancient Shilla dynasty, and unfortunately, there's many parts of the city that were damaged during Japanese occupation. However, it has stunning traditional architecture and a really traditional feel in general. Even though it's become quite touristic, there's a lot of places to learn about Korean history. You can also see many people wearing hanbok, which is the traditional Korean dress. You can also see this in Seoul in traditional areas like palaces and historical places. But yeah, I found the vibe to be really nice in Gyeongju. I visited a lot of historical sites, and the tombs also are definitely worth a visit. I also stayed in a really nice hostel which is called Dubaki. I had a lot of fun there. I don't have any videos of the hostel, but I highly recommend it, and it was also a good price. For working, after my free time in Gyeongju, I actually got an Airbnb in a neighboring city called Gyeongsan, because Gyeongju is a little bit expensive for Airbnbs because it's obviously like a touristic place. So if you need a quiet place to work, I really recommend the Airbnbs or the accommodation in Gyeongsan. It's only about an hour away. Or you could also go to Daegu. I also forgot to mention earlier in the video that Google Maps doesn't work very well in South Korea. It works a little bit, like you can see the transport and stuff like that, but for walking directions or detailed directions, you can't use Google Maps. I recommend using either Naver Maps or Kakao Maps. I'm going to put the names up on the screen. So my next destination after Gyeongju was Seoul, the capital of South Korea. You know, I really liked Seoul actually. I ended up staying in Seoul for quite a while as well. Not as long as Busan. Busan was still my favorite, but I stayed in Seoul I think for over 2 weeks. The second part of the video now is going to be a lot less solo compared to Gyeongju and Busan, and the reason that I didn't put solo female in the title of this video is because even though I traveled to South Korea alone and I stayed alone, phone most of the time. I also met quite a few people in Seoul. I met up with a student that I used to tutor many years ago that I'm still in touch with. Him and his wife kindly showed me some really cool traditional places in Busan village, which is kind of like the old town of Seoul. And I also met up with another student of mine and a friend of mine that live in Seoul. And on top of that, I met a really cool person from Jeju Island who I ended up traveling around a little bit with when I went to Jeju. So yeah, from this moment forward, the video is going to be a lot less solo. Yeah, I had the best time in Seoul. I really liked it. I was kind of expecting that it would just be another big, busy, expensive cosmopolitan city, which, I mean, of course it is expensive. That's one thing I will say. Seoul is quite expensive. However, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't feel like it had the same commercial vibe like a lot of other big capital cities tend to. I found a lot of the areas of Seoul very well preserved. I found the old town very well preserved, and a lot of places that were quite localized and hipster. Of course, there's all of the typical touristic places which I did go to, but there's also a lot of hidden gems that my friends and my students kindly showed me.
The train for Busan is approaching.
One of my very good students and friends at this point, I met up with him and his wife, and they brought me to a few really cute places in Bukchon village. And yeah, I have to give a shout out to him because he did a lot of filming for me, and I honestly think he was a natural. Like, comment below if you agree. I told him that he should make his own YouTube channel because he was really good at filming.
Okay.
We have the fish. What's the Korean again?
Yunori. And then,
Yunori.
yeah. Wow.
Okay, I got two.
Yeah, there's a K. So you
K.
can go to, yeah, two places. Two.
So, just one
Here?
of them.
Just only one.
1, 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you.
Yay!
Oh, okay. Oh. But I think, but this is more short.
I can. Yeah, actually, that's.
You can choose, but this is short way.
Yeah.
Maybe you can choose.
You're helping me win. What?
There it is.
No!
Oh my god. So maybe this saves our time. You can try one more time.
No.
Okay.
No, you win.
Yeah, I know that I mean, but just use slow way.
You're too polite.
Okay.
You're too polite. Stop it.
Okay.
That's okay.
Thank you. Is it fun?
Yeah, it was very fun. Yeah, I'm coming back.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. It's a moo. Wow, that is good.
Move.
Yeah.
Move.
You go.
So, I can go here.
Yeah. 도개걸윷 모.
Move.
Yeah, but it's 모 and 윷. You have to one more time. Yeah.
I get to go again.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's really good.
I hope you're not just saying that to be polite. What is this? What's it called?
That's a problem to me.
You don't know.
Because English and
Bad Korean.
yeah.
What?
That is a 병풍. So yeah, 병풍.
It's a store.
Reservation in there.
Oh.
So in this wall is from the street garden. So yeah, you can.
Like I mentioned, Seoul is a little bit expensive. I found the accommodation especially to be quite expensive. However, not to make comparisons, but it's really interesting because before I went to South Korea, I was expecting South Korea to be a lot more expensive than Japan. I'm not sure why I had that in my head, to be honest, but I just did. However, I did feel that with daily things, they're kind of similar, like groceries and stuff like that. But when it came to accommodation, South Korea was actually a lot cheaper. Even though Seoul was still pricey for my usual budget, it was cheaper than Tokyo in Japan. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I wasn't expecting that myself. I don't know if that's just me. Yeah, it was amazing.
He wants to go another small alley. 여쭤봐.
제가 잠깐 걷다가 제가 배를 좀 거기는
됐다.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, these pictures?
I'm so beautiful.
Wow. Oh my god.
Nothing like me.
Now you understand what feeling I.
No, yours look like me.
Really?
I'm like half Asian. Like they look at the eyes. It's like
Yeah.
half Asian, half Western eyes.
Wow.
So good, right?
Yeah, this is totally modern style. It's
Totally
not
modern.
Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna give this one to my friend in Jeju Island.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
I would give to you, but you already have
Yeah.
it.
Yes, we have.
I think you don't want another one. What color?
어떻게 동그랗게 잘라요?
여기 약간 라인이 있어요.
아, 예.
예, 그래서 여기다 이렇게 싹 맞추면,
네.
그래서 이렇게 한번 눌러주면 그 동그라미.
Cool.
Thank you.
감사합니다. Thank you.
감사합니다.
아 이거
Yeah.
네.
Good.
Oh, I can see myself.
This works.
This fish is really good. And yeah. I put potatoes. Very Irish. And that's it.
That's good. This is soybean with 달래 아주.
감사합니다.
Thank you. 고맙습니다. 비벼 드시려면 네, 네, 네.
So my last stop in South Korea before I left after over 2 months was Jeju Island. Jeju Island was amazing. It's so beautiful. I think that if you're a nature lover and if you love dark green color palettes and you like beaches, waterfalls, mountains, etc., then Jeju Island is definitely a place to visit. Obviously, the mainland has a lot of mountains and beaches too, but there is something really special about Jeju Island. They have a very different culture there. Even the Korean is different. They speak a different dialect. Usually Jeju Island is quite expensive compared to the mainland, but I think because I went during an off season when it wasn't so touristy, the accommodation was actually really cheap, and I went camping with my friend on one of the beaches, which was amazing, and it was free, so it was an easy way to save money. Most people rent a car to get around Jeju Island because that's just the most convenient way. There are buses and you can use the public transport, and you can also hike a lot, so it's definitely doable without a car. Going by general Korean public transportation standards, the public transport is way less and less regular, but obviously if you're someone who usually travels in underdeveloped countries, then the public transport here is still going to be pretty good. But if you're comparing it to the mainland and big cities like Seoul and Busan, the public transport is less regular and it might be harder to get to places. I also used T-Way Airlines to fly from Seoul to Jeju. I actually can't find the price of the flight, but it was really cheap around that time of year. I believe it was May when I flew there, and I think the flight was like less than $20. So Jeju Island really touched my heart. Jeju has a sad place in Korean history because of the April 3rd massacre, which you should definitely learn about if you go to Jeju Island, learn about the history. And also in the past it was used as a place for political exile. Like I mentioned, they have a more distinguished culture from the mainland and a different dialect. Also, something that I find interesting about Jeju Island that I really like is it's more of a matriarchal society than a patriarchal society. There's a phrase that's used in Korea when talking about Jeju Island. You say rocks, wind, and women, if I'm getting it right. So it's basically referring to the windy weather, how many rocks they have, and how women are the dominant gender in the society, which I have to admit I absolutely love. Jeju's female dominance also refers to a group of divers, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce the word in Korean because I'll butcher it, but it's a group of female divers that dive in Jeju, and they're known for diving without any modern equipment. And actually recently there's been a lot of genetic studies and testing carried out on this group of women that do diving in Jeju Island, and they apparently have a higher lung capacity than the average Korean or the average person in general because of how much they dive without modern day equipment.
That's the same horse.
Yeah. Can't make me. And then there's the white horse. The queen of the castle. Jeju is also famous for the matcha in South Korea. As I mentioned in my video about Japan, I love matcha, so I also went to a tea museum and to see the tea fields. And yeah, that kind of brings me to the end of this video. I could honestly ramble about South Korea forever, but I'm gonna leave it here because I'm all out of footage. As a final conclusion, I absolutely loved South Korea. Again, I stayed there the longest out of any country I traveled to when I was traveling nomadically. It was just such a good place to get into a routine, to focus on work, but also to see a lot of cool places and meet a lot of cool people. And I have such good memories from this country. I think the natural beauty combined with the interesting people and culture, rich history, and metropolitan cities, not to mention the pop culture, make it such a worthwhile destination in Eastern Asia. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in the next video.